Hello and welcome to Not Done Yet, the podcast celebrating age, challenging ageism, and proving that retirement is just the beginning. Before we get going with our latest episode, we'd like to say a huge thank you to all those of you who've watched the first 2 episodes of our podcast, which have only kicked off in the last couple of weeks. We hope you will spread the word to any friends of yours who you think might be interested in listening. And don't forget, you can follow our YouTube channel by clicking the bell icon on YouTube, and then you will receive automatic notifications each time we upload an episode. Also, feel free to comment. We'd love to hear what you think. So the more you post, the more we can interact, the more we can build our audience and profile on our YouTube channel. And of course, spread the word to all of you that just because you've finished the first part of your working life does not mean your life finishes at that point. Not Done Yet is brought to you by the Civil Service Retirement Fellowship. We are a national charity specialising in supporting former civil servants and their dependents through charitable services built around friendship and advice. But this is a space where experience meets curiosity, wisdom meets possibility, and where we ask a very simple question: what comes next? So each episode you listen to, we'll be chatting to inspiring people who are redefining their later lives, from embarking on new careers and creative projects to volunteering, learning, activism and adventure, or indeed in all of those areas at the same time, as we've discovered with some of the people we've spoken to already. Because retirement isn't the end of the story, it's just the start of a brand new chapter. And if you're listening to us now, the chances are you're not done yet either. So, some general introductions. My name is David Tickner, and I'm the Chief Executive of the Civil Service Retirement Fellowship. And I'm also, as always, delighted to welcome my partner in crime and podcast pal, Denise Headley. Denise is the CSRF's Deputy Chief Executive and also an experienced broadcaster herself, running her own weekly podcast on politics and world affairs. And if you're listening to this in the last couple of weeks, you will realize that she's gone live on her podcast too. So you'll be able to see and engage with her on the Headley Highlight Show, which you can find via her X profile. But to get to the star man for today, we're delighted to welcome a very long-standing member of the CSRF community, who in fact, I think, and he may correct me if I've made a mistake, joined us in 1979. So I think that would probably put him way up near the top of being one of the longest members of our community. Terry is a former civil servant. He's been retired for many years now, but he has embraced retirement in many ways, as we're going to discover during the course of the show today. So a huge welcome to you, Terry. We're delighted to have you with us.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And I'm going to kick off with our signature question, which we ask everybody at the beginning of the show. When did you realize that you were not done yet?
I first realized this just after my retirement. When I was retired, to realize that some of my interests would be continuing with many more in the future, which actually has been a situation, a plethora of interests, and continuing on with much success. Indeed, it was wonderful, actually, and far more busy than I had been when I was working up in London in my happy days in the Home Office in central London.
Yeah,
I find it was very successful and conducive to my situation. And also, I had a lot of accolades throughout my career, short-lived though it had been. So
can I ask you a question, Terry? When you were, I mean, we're going to get on to obviously talking about all the many things you've done since retiring, but can you remember back to when you got to that point where you were considering retirement? And if you can, how did that feature in your mindset about what you think it might mean to you when you left your working career?
Well, I never considered retirement at all. I was intending to carry on, despite the fact I'd been very ill at the time through overdoing it. When I first was accepted into the Home Office London Home Office Civil Service in Westminster as a teenager, and I enjoyed it at the time, but I had become somewhat unwell towards the end of 1968. I found that the change from Scotland to England and also the phenomenality, as a word, of London and being in the Home Office also, one of the selected few, 100 applicants for 20 places out of one of the places. And then my success following on from that was I finally got ill through overdoing things. I was doing things at home, commuting. The work was fine. My main concern was my future, my promotional possibilities, which were starting to be achieved a few years after that. So I had never considered retirement when I actually had to be retired on medical grounds by the medical authorities in conjunction with the civil service and the Home Office, who could see I was becoming very ill. Indeed, despite the fact I was ill, I carried on with my work, and I also had two further breakdowns. I went back to work with added impetus until they found that I just had overdone it with all my additional interests, art, music, the church, and other such was carrying on, was manifested themselves in later years. Some years ago. Yes, I was very happy in London. Yes, I had lots of colleagues. Yes, I met a number of famous people. Yes, I joined the Home Office Musical Society. And yes, I was a Home Office Christian Fellowship librarian from 1969. In addition to my work in the Home Office, my promotion followed through examination success. And I was moved into a very excellent job, and I was elevated again to a phenomenal job, the national outreach. I was supportedly happy in that position. I was very interested in the subject matter that I dealt with, and I was very friendly to everybody. I was compatible with the work and the people and the personnel I was involved with. In fact, I loved it. And the thing is, I commuted. I like commuting. It didn't like me. So I know. I love.
Terry,
Yes.
can I ask you a quick question then?
Yes.
It's lovely to meet you as well. And I just want to say, I think you look really smart. I love your braces and your tie. You think you look lovely, by the way.
Charles Turret, Jermyn Street, London.
Oh, it looks great. It looks grand. But I just wanted to say, I'm talking about when you were retiring, you know, when I imagine you were relatively quite young when you retired, and the the prospect of it, were you scared at first? Did you?
No, I was never scared. I
Oh, okay.
no fear involved at all. I had no fear at all. Maybe it's a medication that masked it. Oh no, I don't have fear.
Was you high on the supply?
I've been through so much. I mean, my upbringing was wonderful, wonderful mom and dad in Scotland and the church, happy school days. I was still connected to my old church in Scotland through this iPad. I watched the services live through from my old church congregation in Scotland every Sunday. I used to go, I'm a member of Christchurch United Reformed Church here in Chelmsford. In fact, it's outside my window. It's a 7-sided building on a tidal base, built in 1970-71. at the time, well, when we first came south in 1967, I was a teenager. We started going to Chelmsford Cathedral. I love that, and I was on the preparation course for membership by the Supreme Centre, Very Reverend Michael York, who passed away a few years ago as the Dean of Lichfield Cathedral. He was a Cambridge graduate, anyway, from Cambridge, and my father did not like the rigmarole of standing sitting nearly all the time, whereas I love the thing. I love the cathedral. In fact, something very strange happened in 1994. I was at a political meeting in my church here, Christ Church, chaired by Reverend Dr. John Moses, who was the provost of Chelmsford Cathedral. I was telling some ladies after this political meeting, he suddenly appears at my side, looks at me straight in my face and says, "A man of grace," indicating this to myself and the ladies who I'd known for years. I was stunned at this accolade, this intimation, that's not an intimation, an accolade. And this announcement, you see, a year after that, he was installed as Dean of St. Paul's Cathedral. One might have thought one has made it as a Christian. Well, not so. You've got to try and keep up to that level of that accolade, that level of yes.
So Terry,
I read the Bible 5 times all the way through.
Oh my gosh!
Yes, I know. The Jewish Bible twice, New Cambridge Paragraph Bible, Royal Society.
And what? Let me ask you a question on that, Terry.
Yeah,
which was your favorite, Terry? Which was your favorite book of the Bible?
Favorite book of the Bible, Revelation. Then you've got after that some of the New Testament and the old everything. This entire Bible is my favorite.
I did theology Revelation. When I was at university.
Oh yes,
and one of the segments of my degree was Old Testament, which I loved because never was there more a gruesome selection of the Book of Kings and the Book of Chronicles, which was just like one king after the other, begetting and murdering, and all sorts.
Psalms and everything else. I mean, you see, you've got, Genesis and as praise the Lord, you've got Joseph and so on. Then you have Exodus with Moses, and Leviticus is really statistical, as Deuteronomy repeats the Ten Commandments, and so on. Numbers, of course, also. Anyways, they are statistical, but very fascinating. I read Leviticus about 40 minutes at one time. Wow. I was a very fast reader.
But that's another thing, Terry. You're just proper sharp. I just really like. You are. You are very. You're very sharp.
Well, I've enjoyed the Bible very much. It dominates my life, where I live. Also, the intellectual side, the literary value. It's wonderful.
Excellent. Hello there. If you're enjoying this episode of Not Done Yet, this is the commercial break. You may not know, but the Civil Service Retirement Fellowship is a national charity. We receive no funding from the civil service, and we are entirely supported by the generosity of our donors and subscribers. If you'd like to join our community or just make a one-off donation, check out our website www.csrf.org.uk and make a donation online. Or if you prefer, give us a call on 0208 691 7411 and make a donation over the telephone. Thank you very much. We hope you enjoy the rest of the episode. Right. I think what I was going to ask you, just going back, I know you said you came down to London aged 18 or as a teenager.
19. Just after my 19th birthday.
One question I've got for you though, Terry. We did a feature several years ago,
Oh yes.
in Fellowship News about the civil service hostels that used to be run. Did you stay in one of those?
Never, because it's always.
Oh, you never.
No, I stay with my parents all the time.
Ah, right. So they moved from Scotland to London as well.
Sorry. Sorry. When we came south, everything I had as a child came with us, and I still have it here now in this place where I am now. Pardon, today. I've said it last time. So I used to get the eagle. You know the eagle down there?
The Eagle comic?
Yes.
Yes, I remember the Eagle.
Well, in fact, I'll show you. I mean, this is the latest. This arrived yesterday.
Ah.
You never heard the Eagle Society? I've got all these, and it's all about that. It's beyond the goal. This is spring. It's volume 39, number 1, 4 times a year. Now, there's an extra story behind how I got into this, because first of all, when I was in 1953, Mum bought a copy of the Robin, which is Halton Press. So she told me used to get that. And then 1954 switched to the Swift comics I've kept, and I didn't keep them, but I've got some early editions in bound volumes just behind me here. Then 1961, when Dan Dare was on the Platinum Planet, 3rd week in November 1961, I got the Eagle delivered ever since, up until 1966, when I had left school and I stopped getting the Eagle and started working in Glasgow in the Glasgow City Chambers, which runs Glasgow George Square. And also, by the way, one thing, this Jerusalem Bible I bought in my lunch break when I was in that office, brought in, they all looked at me in a strange way, wondering what I brought in to read, and I couldn't believe it. I was 2,000 pages. I read it twice. I mean,
so could I interject there, Terry?
Yeah.
Because one of the things I read in your bio, and you're talking about your avid interest in reading and mental stimulation, is that
yes,
you are a member of Mensa.
I am a member of Mensa, yes.
And you were featured in the magazine in 2015.
Yes, I was.
Yeah. And then you
Yes.
also set up the Mensa Chelmsford group. And this to me is like about your motivation for you, because the not being done yet is effectively what I can see in the embodiment of the way that you're talking about things, because you sing in the choir, you're very active in church, you set up the Mensa organization locally. Just talk to us a little bit about how you're motivated to do these things, and a bit about the organization you put together.
I've always been motivated to do interesting things all my life. Now, first of all, with Mensa, I saw a puzzle in the TV Times, and I thought, what have I got? Mind you, before I actually got in 1989, I did the Daily Telegraph Mensa Challenge, which is a month, sort of a weekly thing. And the first week was bronze, didn't get that. Second week was silver, didn't get that. Third week was gold, and the certificate is up there framed.
Oh, well done!
But now it's a picture frame.
Oh, wicked!
Yes, and then, but that was in 1989. And it was interesting. So it's up there framed. Said the holder certificate's got gold, you pass the gold level. Anyway, but then it wasn't until 6 years later when I actually saw a puzzle on the TV Times. did that, sent it into Mensa. 2 weeks later, I received, I'd say, got them all right, sent me home screening test. Then I did that and the time, and I sent that back to them. 3 weeks later, I received a package saying that I had they sent me a certificate saying your score shows your potential Mensa material. Congratulations, you get a high score. We strongly urge you to go forward and sit the supervised test, which I do. That certificate's up there, framed up near my artwork on the wall. I mean,
Oh, we haven't even talked about your painting yet.
Wow.
Oh, fantastic!
You've not got much. You've not got much space left on your walls there, Terry.
Lots of artwork everywhere.
Are all of the pictures? Are all of the pictures we're looking at? A lot of them are done by you, are they? Or
they're all done by me. Everything in this place is done by me.
Oh, that's fantastic!
Framework.
And you've had exhibitions as well, haven't you, Terry?
I've had exhibitions. No, we see the thing is that anyway, I sent this. I said if I replied within 2 weeks, I get the Mensa pen. So I did. I decided to go forward up to Coltrane Institute and sit the supervised test. Now, the invigilator, who was a friend of mine after I got in, and I sat the test, 2 hours of IQ test. The one is called Culture Fair for 20 minutes. All the diagrams, puzzles, shapes, bits of bites out of that. Second part, 20 minutes later, all the words and everything else. I did all that. Then 3 weeks later, this foolscap paper envelope arrived through the door saying, well, all you have to do is sign this, become a member of Mensa. I did, and I am one. I've been ever since April 1995.
Terry, what does Mensa membership actually? I mean, I get the whole testing
Mensa
process.
is Latin for table, you probably know.
Do you get any discounts and benefits from being a Mensa member?
I get, well, I meet lots of other genius friends.
Oh, Terry, I love it. I'm giving you some applause for that. Genius friends. Go on, Terry.
Well, meant to be, because you see, I've got this behind me on, I'm going to turn this around. I get clothes and I've got couplings, and
I think you've got lots of celestial pictures as well, Terry.
Yeah, I'm an astrophysical thing person.
Oh, fab.
And you see,
oh, look at that.
Wow.
That's a nebulous. That's beautiful.
That's Susie Quattro, did her.
Susie Quattro, yeah, remember her.
And that, a copy of that is in her home, because she lives here.
Oh, wow.
In Chelmsford?
Yeah, in Chelmsford. She's been living here since 1973 or so on. She lives somewhere in Chelmsford.
I should think she'd be very pleased about that picture.
And then Lulu was here in 2002, and I did a picture of her, just make up, or she signed it in silver ink down there. It's Lulu.
Wow.
And what was she like to paint?
Oh, I didn't paint her. I did it from existing artwork.
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah, from original.
I just really like those pictures, Terry. Can you talk a little bit, because I mean, you've talked there about Mensa and how you got involved with them. Could you talk about how did you get interested in art and painting and that kind of thing?
I could draw before I started school. Yes, my interest, it predates my interest in space, in science, in astrophysics. I was about 5 or 6 when I started school, looked up the sky, looked at the stars, interested in astronomy. I met Patrick Moore.
I used to watch that, isn't it?
Sky at Night.
The Sky at Night. Yeah, I used to watch the Sky at Night.
Sky at Night. And on the 10th of December 1987, Patrick Murt arrived at the a bookshop here, so he signed some books. He signed a Man in the Moon first day cover American stamp on it. It's already been signed by Sir Clive Sinclair. So it's signed by Patrick.
But didn't he make that?
He did the
Sinclair C5.
Sinclair C5.
Yeah.
He was the president of Mensa for a long time. He popularized it. He lives in Spring Gardens, just off Trafalgar Square. Yeah, but there you are. I mean,
obviously all those C5s gave him a nice nest egg.
I think he catched it off down there. This is very similar to the Mekong, the twins flying cars with flying vehicles that used in the first Venus story, which ran for 77 episodes, the 9th and the 14th of April, which was a Friday, 1950, right the way through to halfway through 1951, which was started by Arthur C. Clarke.
I remember him as well.
He
Arthur
was
C.
involved
Clarke.
with
like
the
that
Eagle.
program.
He also did a program about strange occurrences.
That's the one that
didn't
I
he?
saw. The one about strange occurrences.
Yeah.
I've read a lot of his
that the
work.
crystal skulls. The
Yeah.
skulls made out of crystal.
Yeah, that Damien Hirst did the crystal skull in his artwork. Oh, right, diamonds. Skull covered in diamonds, wouldn't you? I'm going over to art. Yeah. Anyway, so I mean, with science fiction, I've read hundreds of science fiction. Read all the science of Isaac Asimov's novel, 41 of them. I've read Edgar Rice Burroughs' Martian series, and there's a Venus series, and there's Blue Cedar series. My colleague in the Home Office in 1972 gave me a copy of Edgar Rice Burroughs' Blue Cedar science fiction. I looked at it, read it, got the other 5 books in series right away. That's something I'm digressing again. So back to this.
You can digress away, Terry. This is your space, and we can go wherever it takes.
I've got another question I want to ask you, Terry. Go on, will you finish?
Yeah, what was that?
I wanted to just ask your thoughts about the golden equation. Have you got any thoughts about that?
You mean the I mean this art formation for paintings. Yeah, the golden house. Why, yes, it's interesting. It's how you can get perfect compositions in art.
How does it work? You need to explain that, because I've never heard that.
So
I'm not all that familiar. Well, Terry's
go for it, Terry. Yeah,
it's divided up into. So you've got a rectangle, like a quarter of that, but a quarter of the smaller one. So it's down in quarters. You could do it also with circles if you wanted to. I could. I don't use that in my artwork. I just do my artwork as I like. But the golden section, it's actually called golden section. Equation could be mathematical. So
it's in a definite. It's a way in which you can construct a picture. Is that?
Well, you can. But I've never used that.
Yeah.
I know how it works, but I mean.
I'm not totally familiar how it works, Terry, but I just know that my nephew's friend has got it tattooed on his arm, and he's like a major mathematician, and he's always interested in physics. He's done a physics degree and stuff like that. So I don't understand it fully, but I think it's about understanding the universe and particles, and it's got all different things. But I
know about the universe. You get books on it, go, I'm interested in astronomy, astrophysics. I'm in the astrophysics out of Mensa.
Oh, did you
read? Where did you get your interest?
Sorry,
no, go on.
Did you read any stuff by Stephen Hawking?
I've got all of his books. I've read
Singularity.
The History of Time 3 times. Oh, well, I mean, read it once, and then I got the 10-year update. I've got the universe, and I've got the illustrated version, the History of Time, and there's another one, the universe in a nutshell, which developed as theory. I got another one after that. Read them all the way through.
Where did your interest in astrophysics stem from, Terry?
I just always had been.
Oh, without you,
I was
it
6
was
years
always there.
But when I first started school, when I was 5, I started school. Mum took me down to the school, and it's where she met all the other mothers and had lifelong friendships formed among all the mothers, which lasted till my mum sadly passed away on the 17th of July 2010, but that's another thing. So, as I say, so I made a friend called Billy Hutchison, whose son, Derek Hutchison, has been a member of Mensa. Also, as I say, Billy and I were friends all the time, all the way through school, both schools, and we still continue friendship to this day. He is an organist and choir master in Scotland. He's been the president of the Glasgow Organist Society 3 times, and we keep contact birthday and Christmas. We used to play together as children. His grandfather now. His eldest son is a dean of Malmo University, and his other son is Derek and Colin. Younger son Colin is works in observatories around the world, astronomical. Now there's connections there because when we were children, I remember going to school, we were discussing our favorite names. And I said, we agreed that Derek and Colin were our favorite names. So he called us children, Derek and Colin, right back when we were about 7 or 8 years of age. I mean, that's when we thought of the name, but we are close. We're famous as 2 friends all the way through primary school, and then our teenagers at the second grade grammar school.
So Terry,
him still to this day. I'll be getting a birthday card on my birthday this year, of course, 13th of June. I'll try and send him one. Although I'm confined to the flat now, because I've got wobbly legs and 2 flights of stairs up. Everything I've got here is everything I've ever wanted, I've got. So I don't have to buy anything else. All my favorite books and music and art. So, anyway, so going back to originally about this ego, I have what happened there. Maybe I should go back further than that because I'd stopped getting the ego and something else I collected as well. I'll mention that later on, which is unique, to complete that. I mean, if you remember the Daily Express, Jeff Hawke was running from 1954 to 74, science fiction newspaper cartoon strip. I'm the archivist of the Jeff Hawke Club. Because I'm the only person on the planet who's got a complete run of Jeff Hawke. Every day.
There might be collectibles, Terry.
I mean, in the Express, it ran every day, a little 3 which just appeared in the second half of the paper, 6 days a week. Now, if you imagine that people on the train going up to London or anywhere reading that, we might not get a chance to keep the continuation of the story running. Now, I was able to cut these out every day on the paper from 1962, April 1962, up until September 66. I got them all painted. I put them all into books for me myself, painted the covers. But then you see, I restarted them in 1970 with a story called The Book of the Worlds, which attracted me. Now, there's a long story to have to sort of keep it brief, but that when I was working in the Immigration Appeals Tribunal in the Strand, found house, probably the articles in our Courts of Justice in 1976, I maybe it's before I moved there from the head office of the print department, Nicholson Square. Anyway, tell me more about that side of my job, which is phenomenal. I thought I decided to go up to the Daily Express office with my books, and they're fascinated by these. Said, "Do you want to complete your collection?" I said, "Yes." So they sent me around to Shoe Lane, just beside the Art Deco Daily Express building. After I was vetted, they took me downstairs to the basement where all the newspaper cartoon strips of all that wherever were printed and published in Fleet Street were in one place, in envelopes on racks everywhere. It's a lot from the end of the 19th century up to that time.
I bet you felt like you were in seventh heaven there, Terry.
Well, yes, I thought I was only there to complete my jackpot. I also got James Bond, which ran at the same time. Got all these in book form, the cartoon book form, from the science fiction Forbidden Planet mega store, which is in Shaftesbury Avenue. I have been there a few times, got some deliciously interesting, rare science fiction paperbacks. Somebody had left their collection there. When I was there, I thought, shall I get a whole load of cheap ones or get 4 of the most expensive ones? 4 of the most expensive paperbacks, including Slave Planet, was one. Yeah, well, I mean, very rare. It's cost me £12. There's others.
But
I
Terry,
read Strange Land.
could I just ask you to tell us a little bit about your
One.
singing as well?
Singing?
Yeah, because you're also an avid singer, aren't you?
Oh, yes. I mean, no, with that, when I started, I was on promotion. You see, I set the civil service competition in 1971, and I passed all 4 exams. But I was 373rd out of 5,860 candidates. My average mark for exams, but my maths mark was way, way higher than the other 3. I thought I did sort of a quick mental calculation of where that positioning. I don't know what position could be, but they were banging and scraping when I had to go from Princeton House in Holborn, which is Immigration Nationality head office at the time, near Red Lion Square, over to Whittington House, which is a part of Home Office that runs Home Office staff, so on. And it's sort of, there wasn't why that interview, but the carpets on the floor went up the walls to the dado halfway up. A glass building in 1971. That was quite something. So I had the interview, and then I was amazed when they said where I got to put in manpower control in the, as you fortunately happened all the time. 4 were sitting around the table. There was no art in the civil service at all. I did the nearest thing to art, did the whole stream of graphs of every prison Borstal detention centre, command centre, and the walls in the department administration, and did them all. I love doing that kind of thing. Anyway, so then I got elevated 6 months later, and now I realise they're trying to assess me, what I was able to do through my compatibility with the work and the people and the job, how I behaved, how I carried myself, how I presented myself, how they said I was a good advert for the civil service. I dressed very smartly, never late for work, ever, not commuting from here to London.
Even with commuting, which is outside of your control?
Yeah, oh yeah, well, but then it was fine. I mean, it's 7:35 or 7:42 from Chelsea up to Liverpool Street, to English Stone Shenfield, up to Liverpool Street, then straight to the tube. Yeah, it used to be the Central line to Westminster. And then after that, I walked to the station.
We hope you're enjoying this episode of Not Done Yet. If you didn't know much about the Civil Service Retirement Fellowship, we are a national charity providing support and advice and guidance to former civil servants and their dependents. If you would be interested in finding out how you can become a volunteer or a donor, check out the website on www.csrf.org.uk or give us a call on 0208 691 7411. We'll look forward to hearing from you. Right, what I'd like to do, I mean, it's been excellent so far hearing all about your interests. Just going slightly sidebar. I mean, one of the elements that this podcast wants to look at, as well as people's experiences, is also perceptions of retirement. I mean, you've been retired for a very, very long time.
Yes.
And from what you've already you shared very eloquently with us, you've done lots of different things. You've not sat about, you've gone out there, you've learned, you've done things. But have you encountered ageism from people towards you in your walk of life? No?
They don't believe I'm the age I am because, quite frankly, I don't think I'm the age I am.
Are you going to share what age you are with us, Terry?
I can do if you like.
Feel free. It's your space, so yeah.
I'll be 78 in June 13th.
You'll be what?
78.
78?
Yeah, years of age.
All right.
Mind you, I've never had alcohol in my life. Don't touch it. Never tempted. Apart from, say, a whiskey version of mum and dad at the time, maybe a white wine with a meal, or maybe a sherry. But nothing. Oh, yes. 1977, when I was in hospital, I had 1 or 2 guiding coats. Nothing more after that. Oh, no, I don't touch alcohol at all.
Is that the secret to longevity, do you think, Terry? Keeping off the sauce?
Well, that makes me, it probably might be, because I never had a cigarette in my life. I was never tempted at all by that. No, I never had.
So you're vice-free, is that right?
Yes, I am a Christian and totally, because I'm a very...
The only vice you've got is a love for literature, art, music, books, and all of those.
All the rest of it. I used to be a philatelist as well.
Oh, interesting.
I've got 24 albums of stats, birthday covers. I've got 4 penny blacks, not a mint one, but 4.
Oh, really?
I've got, in 1972, I went to Stanley Gibbons and bought a penny black in a protective case for £10. And then I got a Tuppenny Blue for £50.
Stamp collecting was. Dee, did you ever?
I used to stamp collect. That's
do you remember you could get packets of random stamps?
Yeah, I know. Well, I didn't.
We're very basic by comparison to your experience, Terry.
I've got every British commemorative in mint condition from 1924 to 2002 in my albums. I've got all the stamps.
I remember when we were younger, we had, I mean, I'm sure you could buy from newsagents these packs that used to have all sorts of different stamps in from all over the world as well.
I used to get, I used to get first day covers signed by famous people. Still got them. Also, I've got two ceremonial program from the Remembrance Sunday service, Whitehall. That's in one of my albums. I'll tell you more about that. It's a highlight of my life.
Go on, expand on that.
Oh, good heavens. In 1972, November, I was able to, they came to me at Home Office notice to say, would I like to have a place on the balcony or work at Cenotaph on Remembrance Sunday?
Wow.
So I said yes. So I got the train, I was dressed, black tie, white shirt, suit, polished shoes a lot. I got the train up to London. They locked going after 9:30. I had to go through a side door because of security. Made my way up to this room, and I went to the block wallpaper, fire wallpaper, real far in the grate, sofas, nice cup of tea. Sorry, real far in the grate, chandeliers. I'm getting a bit dry. Then I went out on the balcony. There's 4 other people. This is 1972. 4 other people looked as if they were sort of, not of my status. Who's at the upper class and
what gave them away, Terry? The fact they were
their demeanor. They looked very polite. They were looked as if I didn't know who they were at all. So I just went out with 5 of us on the balcony looking down at the throng of Whitehall and the cenotaph. Sorry. And it was amazing because I don't know why she did this. There's a mystery to me. I can't ask her now. She's gone. She passed away. But after the ceremonial, the Queen was leaving, walking to the front door of the office, probably going in the very next day. She suddenly turns her head and makes eye contact with me twice. I'm looking straight at her. She looks at me. I blinked this. I'd missed this, but I missed the second glance. It stuck in my mind like a photograph, to the exclusion of everything else, just me and her, and no one else anywhere in the world. That's photograph was in my head. I have a photographic memory. So Mensa told me. She looked at me twice. I felt intense love. Looked into her eyes, she looked in my eyes. Then she went in to the office door. I don't know why she did this. I have no idea. That is just something more than I can. It just happened.
So you were on. So basically, you watched the whole of the remembrance ceremony from the Admiralty building. Is it that looks over
the Home Office building?
The Home Office building.
Up at the Cenotaph.
Yeah.
Right at where the Cenotaph is. Home Office Whitehall building. I mean, that's where the Musical Society met every Monday also. Room 101. Room 101, yes. But I mean, this is, to me, I've got the program. I've kept all the Home Office Musical Society programs in my room, kept them all.
It sounds to me like your room would be an archivist's dream, Terry, with all of the information you've gathered over many years of experiences.
Yes.
Is it all well catalogued?
It is. Yes. I mean, what happened there is amazing. I was there the following year. Nothing, because she didn't turn her head then. And then 3rd year, my mum and dad were able to be with me.
We're sort of surprisingly, the hour is rocketed almost by, but as we're coming up to the sort of the 60-minute thing, I think what would be great, you've shared so many amazing experiences of what you've done.
It's far more than that.
I'm sure we'll have to get you on for round 2. But what I'm keen to draw out from you is some people listening to this may not yet have retired, and they might be slightly trepidatious about, what the world is going to look like when they do get to that. What sort of advice or guidance would you give based on your own experiences to those people who are approaching retirement in the next, few months or years?
Not sit back and let time pass. Do something, be occupied. Always have interests. I've got natural interest in everything. That's just the way I am. My art ability. I was born with art ability. Never went to art school. Never even had any art education. School, I just did some artwork. Wasn't taught how to do any art, really. When I was 12, head of art said I was the best artist in the class. But so I kept my verse. Something I've got 4 in my artwork at school. Everything else, I've got 400 pictures here you see I've done. And
So how many other famous people have you drawn? I mean, you obviously mentioned
well,
Susie Quattro and Lulu.
I'll say for one thing, I met a lot of famous people. In 1978, I was in Romney House in Marsham Street, working in the pay section in 68. And around about April that year, I was going into the arched entrance of the doorway. There's a nice little lady standing there talking to somebody else. She looks up at me, she smiles nicely, she stands aside to let me pass. I said, thank you very much. And it was Barbara Castle.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Yeah, very famous.
Yes.
And formidable.
Well, but she's a nice little lady. She smiles very sweetly. And people transport. I've got a single vinyl record, Barbara's Castles. It's all an A on in the middle of the 7-minute single. Well, it's just an instrumental, but there you are. And
Anybody listening though, Terry, to what you've shared with us is going to think, does Terry ever put his feet up? And if he does, what does he do when he does put his feet up?
I mean, one more thing. I've been a Sunday school teacher, junior church teacher from September 1965 then up until about 2018 in this church here, the church in Scotland.
Brilliant.
I started going to church age 3. Mum took me to Sunday school one Sunday, Dad the next, then Mum, Dad, so on. And I went through all the Sunday school, got prizes every year for, kept all the prizes. Then they made me a Sunday school teacher in 1965, teaching the primary school children. And then they put me in charge of the register for the entire Sunday school. So all after the end of each Sunday school lesson, all the other teachers used to give me the individual register. I took them home, put in the details in the big register, which I kept at home. At the end of the year, I used to take that. The minute I used to, at the end of the school term year, went with the superintendent, Alec Christensen. He has led the Sunday school to a book warehouse in Glasgow, where I chose all the books as prizes. He vetted them all, passed them all. Then we would stick in the certificates. When on this Sunday prize giving day, we would give out the prizes of these books to the children. This has happened to me personally myself for years back to the age of 4 or 4, right up to when I was about before I became a teacher. And also I did that until I had to leave school, until I left Scotland. And also I also joined the Kirk Hospital visiting team in 1962 because we used this when I was in the Bible class. A brilliant Bible class teacher called Jack Fraser, his wife Jenny, ran that. He said, we learned some nice, songs, the Sunday school, you being fishers of men. I remember that. Nice choruses, Christian choruses in the church. So he went out to the, he said, we have a hospital visiting team for the patients in the hospital. So I said, yes, I do this. So from 1962, I went up to, I go to the church, 9:20, I'd be outside the church, and 2 cars who drive up to the hospital to where there were 2 wards in the pavilion of 2 wards, go into one, they wheel the channel through. There'd be hymns, a prayer, a reading, and an address given by some of the elders of the church. And I was young. I used to do the reading every time. And I did this for 2 years. When I saw 1962 to 67, and we had to leave, a special presentation when I was leaving. They all sort of went around and got a daily light Bible reading book that kept the inscription in it. So
have you, Terry? I mean, in and amongst all of your leisure activities and pastimes, did you ever find time for travel, or was that not something that motivated you?
Well, I've never been on holiday after 1980 because one thing I couldn't afford it really.
Yeah.
But I own my books, everything. 1980, we went to Oberammergau Passion Play in Oxford.
Oh, right. Wow. Yeah, I visited Oberammergau.
Saw the play 5.5 hours in 2 halves. But I mean, when in the 70s or in the 50s, we went to places like Bournemouth and other places, and also up in Scotland.
Because, of course, British seaside towns in the 50s were huge because the Spanish bucket brigade hadn't taken off. So people did go to the coast.
My mum was the fastest shorthand typist in Hampshire at the age of 15.
Yeah.
And she did 200 words a minute at 15. My dad was the top pupil at high school in Glasgow.
What did your mum and dad do, Terry? I mean, what was your dad's profession?
My mum didn't work. She was a housewife who looked after me and my brother, Stephen. We're very, very happy children. And also we're a very happy family all the way through. Although we in the 50s, it was austerity, we knew nothing else. We were happy as we were. Everything new came out. Every year something new came out, like all the new comics, new sweets.
Presumably, do you still have family in Scotland?
No, they've all.
You've got no family connection there anymore.
I've got my brother down here. He's in Chigwell. He and his daughters live down. One's in Browns, that's near Windward. Now is in Watford. There's 2 minutes walk away from the film studio.
So when was the last time you were up in Scotland? Was it a long time ago?
1995 for 5 days.
Ah, right. And was that visiting Glasgow?
Yes, see, my old area, visiting my old schools, visiting my old church.
I would imagine a lot had changed, or maybe not. Had a lot changed?
Well, the fabric was basically the same.
Yeah.
Some changes, others is basically the same. But things have changed since then. It's quite a lot. I went to my old office in Glasgow City Chambers, which runs Glasgow. I went in there, mind me, 28 years since I last been in that office. And imagine
was it still the same?
No, yeah, but just imagine the number of people I've had through there. They recognized me immediately. It's amazing. They said to me, "Do you remember Mansell Kelly?" "Oh, yes, I did," I said. He used to work in the same park as I did, City Assessor's Office. That's divided into 4 sections. District 1, 3, and 4 cover the valuation of outside Glasgow. District 2 or I ward cover the valuation of central Glasgow. And he was in that part as well. Mr. Cameron used to run it, and there's also various other people. I mean, there was 2 young chaps, Tom Manning and John Hamilton. John Hamilton was 20, Tom Manning was 19, and I was, of course, 18. And we sort of worked together. Mansell Kelly, I don't know what age he was, slightly older. Anyway, I remembered him 28 years later, took me through to his room, an enormous room, a very great giant armchair, big desk with bookshelves around. And I didn't think at the time whether or not he was actually the Glasgow city assessor. But he didn't act like that to me in any way, just as an old friend, as he perched on the side of his desk. And I was sitting in this chair. We talked about old times. You see,
Amazing.
and I mean, we used to walk around. I mean, ever heard of Mickey Spillane, the American author? In 1966, he came to Glasgow on a visit, and I knew about this visitation. So I went into this office near the Hangman's. So I know I'm referring to another thing. This Healing umbrella, which is the tower on the central station, near there. And there he was, I had a chat, and I bought a book, he signed it. Mickey Spillane is a top American writer. Saw him for about 25 minutes. I went back to work in Glasgow City Chambers. Oh, and then let lots of people then, but that's an additional thing.
One of the things I think, because we are almost at the 60-minute pin, but I think what's been so amazing listening to you talk for the last 60 minutes is the amount of things you have done simultaneously since you retired.
One of my close friends, you've heard of the Samaritans.
Yeah.
Heard of Chad Barra, the founder of the Samaritans. He founded the Eagle and the Samaritans 3 years later. He's one of my close friends. He got me into the Eagle Society. And at the celebration of the service, St. Paul's Cathedral, because he passed away on the 8th of November, 2007, 2008, the 12th of this November, I think. I had a place in St. Paul's Cathedral.
Wow.
I didn't, there's this lady sitting there smiling brilliantly at me. I read in the paper the next day it was Carol Vorderman. Although I didn't
Carol Vorderman.
Didn't realize it was her. And this other lady who soccer blonde hair, who took part in the service, reading from the Eagle Times, a letter that Chad Barra wrote the Eagle Times. Joanna Lumley was there.
There you
and
go.
She walks up the service, standing around. She sees me, makes a beeline straight for me across the nave, and she have an animated chat. I saw her my Mensa membership card.
Was she impressed?
Yes. And I told her about my complete run, the Eagle I've got here. I got the run of the Eagle from number 1 all the way through the final issue.
I think the Joanna Lumley anecdote is a great high point on which to bring this episode to a close. But before we do, Terry, I'd just like to say, and obviously speaking on Dee's behalf as well, thank you very much indeed for joining us and for being so open with sharing what an amazing life you have had so far. And I'm sure you've got many more anecdotes yet to discover in terms of what you come through as you enjoy life as it progresses from now. But it just reminded me to say that we hope those of you listening have enjoyed this episode as much as we have in delivering it. Keep your eyes peeled for future episodes if not done yet. We've got lots more people coming up in the coming weeks who we're going to be interviewing. But on behalf of both Denise and I and all the people at the CSRF who we work with, we want to thank you for listening to the episode, and also a huge thanks to our special guest Terry for joining us this afternoon. So thank you very much indeed, Terry.
Thank you,
very
Terry.
much. Thank you.
If you're enjoying this episode of the podcast and fancy joining us as a guest on a future episode, then we'd love to hear from you. If you visit our website, www.csrf.org.uk, you can find out on the homepage all about how you can reach out to us and become a guest on a future episode. It doesn't matter from what background you come. What we really want to find are people with interesting experiences in retirement and beyond. So maybe you could be our next special guest.